Internet, my name is Lave and I finally watched Phantom Thread, which is the latest film from writer-director Paul Thomas Anderson, who's teamed up once again with Daniel Day-Lewis. They previously worked together on There Will Be Blood, and I think that did quite well critically. Their latest is set in 1950s London and follows the life of a renowned dressmaker called Reynold Woodcock, who is extremely dedicated to his craft and particular about everything that he does, when his routine is disrupted when he meets a young waitress called Alma, and a romance of sorts develops between them as she integrates into his world. Now, I have to admit I was excited for this film because of the people involved, but a part of me was a little bit apprehensive because it all centres around the world of fashion, and I know absolutely nothing about fashion, particularly high-end fashion, clearly, but I have to admit I was completely blown away by this film. I was utterly engrossed from the very start. I was completely drawn into this world of decadence as the character Alma is. It's completely intoxicating. Everything about this film is extremely intimate, to the way that the characters have been written, to the performances, to the way that it's been shot and edited. There's these gorgeous close-up shots of the actors' faces where you can really study their emotions, to the construction of the dresses. It's simply stunning. On top of that, the musical score is so whimsical. The production design is appropriately first class. Everything about this film is first class. Performance-wise, there is a reason why Daniel Day-Lewis is considered the greatest living actor today, and he gives another Oscar-worthy performance as Woodcock. On the one hand, he seems harmless enough, he's polite to his staff, he calls people so-and-so, but then on the other hand, he's extremely egotistical, he's got this god complex. I mean, if he wasn't in this world of fashion, I think he was a serial killer. It's a fascinating character and a fascinating performance once again from Daniel Day-Lewis, but then you've also got Lesley Manville, who's playing his sister Cyril, this no-nonsense battle axe of a woman who runs the business. I would say that she steals the show if she had more screen time. She is superb. On top of that, you've got another fantastic performance from Vicky Craig, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but she's playing the character of Alma, this everyday waitress who's swept up into this world of the elite. She's equally as good, but what I really love about this film and this trio of performances is that my opinion of them was in complete flux the entire time, and the more I reflect on it, the more I question each of their characters' motivations, and that's why it's so brilliant. But I don't want to say too much more about the individual characters because I feel that would venture into spoiler territory. What I will say about this film is that it is incredibly layered, and I think different people will read into it differently and come up with different conclusions. I personally think it's a film about passion for things that you love, whether that's a person or a thing like your job, and how that passion can turn into obsession and how that affects the way that you interact and connect with humans. There's also this underlying theme of superstition throughout this film, which immediately made me think of this book that I once read. This book by Roland Barthes called Camera Lucida. Now, this book is a reflection on life, death and theatre, and in particular photography, and the author Roland Barthes goes really deep into a picture that he finds of his mother as a child, and it makes him reflect and contemplate and meditate on his life. And that directly parallels something that happens in this film. I'd be really curious to ask if I ever met P.T. Anderson one day to say, have you read this book and did it influence this film? So that's my thoughts on Phantom Thread, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. If you can't tell, I really enjoyed this film and I'm super keen to see it again because I bet it's a film that you get so much more out of on a second viewing. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more my opinions on these characters change. It's so brilliant. I can't wait to see this one again. I might even do a spoiler review analysis video. I think it is that good, and I'm sure it's going to perform well at the Oscars. So thanks very much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. As always, if you can, please give it a like and don't forget to share the Lave. Subscribe.